Save the whale. It's an old slogan we thought we wouldn't need again when a worldwide moratorium on commercial whaling was established in 1986. But whaling is back on the international agenda, just as whale meat is back on the international menu. Ulsan, South Korea. On the back streets of this polluted industrial city, whale meat restaurants thrive, and whale meat is for sale in local fish markets. They claim this meat is the result of so-called accidental bycatch, whales caught in fishing nets set in Korean waters.
길게 말씀을 드려야 되겠습니다. 이제 첫 번째는 우리나라 지리적인 여건상
Due to the geography of Korea, there are a large number of nets and other fishing devices in Korean waters.
바다에 많이 지금 쳐져 있는 그런 형태고, 그다음 또 우리나라
Secondly, due to the large Korean population and the lack of fisheries products to meet this demand, there is a fairly high density of nets in these waters when compared to other countries.
국가들에 비해서는 거물이 정말 곳곳에 쳐져 있다 이렇게 표현할 수밖에 없는 입장인데.
These claims are at odds with the scientific evidence. Whale numbers in Korean waters are at an historic low, and the decline looks set to continue. It's hard to believe that bycatch alone can account for the 120 tons of whale meat sold in Ulsan each year.
In Korea, whales caught in nets can be brought ashore, butchered and sold legally for prices up to and over $100,000 for mature minke, for example. This sends out a very clear message that Korea's dwindling numbers of whales are for sale and that they are being deliberately hunted and targeted because of this.
The reality is that Korea, and especially Ulsan, is seeing an upsurge in the consumption of whale meat. The country is seriously considering a return to whaling. Ulsan takes a pride in its history as a whaling town and has recently opened a whale museum to celebrate it. Next door is a construction site earmarked for a new whale meat factory.
If this whale meat factory is allowed to be built, it will send out a very clear message that the Korean government endorses the illegal hunting and deliberate targeting of threatened and even endangered species. Building this factory is as ridiculous as building an ivory factory to process accidentally killed elephants on the plains of Kenya.
Environmental organisation Greenpeace wants to stop the whale meat factory being built. They've set up a whale embassy on the site of the proposed facility. Their actions receive the support of some of the locals, but spark a conflict with others.
Please listen. This is your land. You have the power of this land. Maybe we can work together to ensure that you make money for yourselves and your children by doing whale watching.
Ironically, it's in Ulsan that the future of the world's whales will be decided during this year's meeting of the International Whaling Committee, the IWC. That future is far from secure. Today, whales face more threats than ever before. Toxic pollution causes chemicals to build up in cetaceans at the top of the food chain. Noise pollution causes stress and strandings. Climate change affects the availability of plankton, the food of many whale species. The whaling nations claim that whale and dolphin numbers must be reduced. They say cetaceans are eating fish which should be for human consumption. In fact, quite the opposite is true. Overfishing is depleting the very fish stocks on which many whales depend. A return to commercial whaling on top of all these threats could lead some whale species down the road to extinction. Ignoring all the evidence, a lobby led by the Japanese and Norwegian governments wants to overturn the moratorium on commercial whaling. In order to secure the necessary 75% majority at the IWC, Japan is buying votes. In exchange for development aid, small island states and poor nations have been persuaded to join the IWC and vote for the pro-whaling lobby. Bizarrely, landlocked countries such as Mali and Mongolia may decide the fate of the world's whales this year.
This year's IWC meeting in Ulsan promises to be a very bad year for the world's whales. Over the last 12 months, the governments of Norway and Japan have increased the number of whales to be hunted, increased the number of species to include fin whales and even humpback whales in the years ahead. If Korea joins the whaling nations and resumes whaling, even under the guise of scientific research, it really will be another substantial nail in the coffin of the global moratorium on commercial whaling.
The vote at this year's IWC hangs in the balance. This means Korea's position could be of crucial importance.
이제 그런 부분은 이제 제 개인적인 견해를 이제 밝힐 수밖에 없는데 한국에서도 어떤 고래 연구에
It is my personal opinion that Korea needs more research on whales, about what kinds of whales live in Korean waters and what they eat to survive.
생활에 나가기 위해서는 어떤 생태적인 습성을 가지고 있는
Because whales are one of the resources of the oceans, and we need to have a basis to be able to make the best use of them. After the research, the government can make a decision as to whether to resume whaling or not.
고래를 잡아야 된다, 잡지 말아야 된다 이런 부분은 제 개인적인 견해.
Many attempts have been made in the past to overturn the fragile moratorium on commercial whaling. Korea must now decide its whaling policy. The future of the whales may depend on that decision.